is Trish. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to take a look at the biggest thing going on in the world right now, and that is Trump's decision to bomb Iran. So I am going to take a look at the repercussions. I'm going to have a look at the energy that could possibly come from this in response to this action. I'm going to look at the energy around Trump's decision and making this decision. I'm going to have a look at the upcoming energy around the collective to see when this energy starts to come back down again. And I'm going to take a look at perhaps the energy around each of the political people here involved in this. So that will be for US, for Iran, and for Israel, to have a look at the energy around those people and possible outcomes for how this could go. So a couple of things. Just want to say welcome to all the new members. I want to say thank you to everybody that continues to come back and watch my videos. Thank you to all the members, and thank you to the new members, and welcome new members and new subscribers. So I appreciate likes and subscribes. That's free to do. And I don't do personal readings. There is somebody that has created an account in my name using my icon, soliciting readings in the comments. So please do not click on any links. The phone number is not my phone number. I do not do personal readings. I'm too busy with creating decks and personalized decks for people. So that's where my energy goes. My reading goes here, and also the pick a card readings for more personalized style of reading over on my other channel, which is Cosmic Trish Tarot Astrology. And over there it's more positive stuff to help lift your mood, where over here it's more about work, current events, true crime, things that actually happen. So the energy is a little bit heavier over here. It's harder energy because, let's face it, that's what the world is right now. But over there on the other channel it's all light and bright, and I do my best to try and keep the energy high over on that channel. For the reading, no, I'm not doing my normal split screen where you can see me do the interpretation and do the shuffle. Today I will be doing the spreads full screen with my hands, so you can just view the cards that are coming out. So let's get on to the reading. Okay, so the energy of this reading is taking a look at the energy around Trump's decision to strike Iran. Now, there was I thought we had a couple of weeks. He was going to make this decision over, and then all of a sudden he's bombing Iran. So looking in around his energy is, what was his motivations? Was it ego, fear, strategy, or was it something else? Now, I do see, to begin with, we're seeing the environmental concerns card here as number 1 card. So this could be indicating it was number 1 on his concern list, being that nuclear war or creating nuclear weapons is detrimental for the environment, with radiation and all other kinds of disasters. Air pollution, we're looking here, this card indicates air pollution, water pollution, all kinds of detrimental health issues around nuclear bombs or nuclear war. So that would be the number 1 concern for this, and having to strike on this so quickly. We've got reversing course here. Now, I feel like there was a bit of back and forward going here on what to do, and I thought that we had a couple of weeks for a decision to be made, and then all of a sudden the bombings occurred. So that could have been a deliberate tactic, is what I'm feeling, a strategic move to throw the other side off course, reversing course. So throwing the other side off course is what I'm picking up, by making them think nothing was going to be done for about 2 weeks while the decisions were being made, when actually there was talks going on to do the reverse and act immediately. So it was a little bit of shifting dynamics here. So it was making it look like on the surface that to the enemy that they were going to make a decision or do something within 2 weeks or 2 weeks later, but then they've done that instantly. So it was a bit of a surprise attack here, and that was purposely done. Being that it's a calculated move here, maybe it was part of the motives here was to assert some kind of dominance, but I do feel more likely strategic attacks or strategic moves here to surprise attack here was the reason why it was done the way it was done, when we're all thinking it was going to be another couple of weeks away. So it was quite surprising, but I feel that was done intentionally and on purpose. Calculated move here. Now, I'm feeling with the regulations, I feel like there's some consequences here around this, and maybe looking into how this decision was made. There could be some kind of repercussions or issues around regulations, and making sure that all of the T's were crossed and I's were dotted in making this kind of decision here. So very interesting that we have this card here on the table. I feel like he could have bypassed congressional approval. I feel like that's what has happened, and I don't know a lot about the US politics, but there's issues with the regulations here, and that could be to do with bypassing congressional approval. So maybe this is going to cause a few issues here, but gaining approval. Now, gaining approval sitting next to regulations was, did he get approval? So this is what's highlighted on the table here with this energy. This is where the questions are underneath. Was approval gained? Did he really gain approval? Now, we don't know that because we don't know what happened behind closed doors, but the cards are on the table saying that was regulation followed, and did he gain approval from or congressional approval here? So this is one of the questions on the table. Now, I do feel issues around the bottomless money pit here, and citizens being concerned about the costs of engaging in such battles, to the taxpayer even, and to the economy of the US getting involved in this, is indicating that there is a moneyless pit issue going on here, meaning that there could be, war is expensive, so not just in dollars, but in lives as well. So we're talking about the military and the people having, the soldiers being enrolled. So there's a great cost to war, and here it's like there's considered to be a bottomless money pit, meaning not too concerned about the cost involved here. I'm jumping over here to the shifting dynamics. I'm getting a sense here around the change of leadership. We've got the leadership card over here, and shifting dynamics around leadership and pushing someone to outside the trusted circle. Now, I'm not touching into the energy here of the Iran leader, but we're talking about Trump's decision, but perhaps part of that decision was to push a regime change for Iran. So I feel like there's a bit of that energy here. So this is leaders going head to head here, head to head battle between leaders from other countries, not domestically. But I do feel like it's pushing somebody outside of the trusted circle, or somebody is being Iran's leader outside of the trusted circle and wanting to change the dynamics of power or the leadership here for that country. So it's not quite outside of the trusted circle. I don't think they trust him. That's the point. It says trusted circle. He's not trusted by either Israel or America. And I do feel that part of the decision being made here was because they do not trust the energy here of him and his nuclear weapons. So that's why it was jumped on so suddenly here. But I do see some kind of shifting dynamics when we're talking about the future. Now, when I've pulled cards on this previously on Marina's show, I did get a stepping down, and also a social outcast as well, which is usually a leader that is outcast. And here it's kind of like this energy here. So outside the trusted circle, not quite as an outcast or being outed yet, but the question that I've actually asked is, what was the dynamics behind the decision that was being made here? So I feel like this covers all of the energy. They're thinking about the future moving forward. Do not trust the current leadership over there with nuclear weapons, and so wanting to shift the dynamic of power of that country here, especially since we've got that leadership battle going there. So, but over here there is concerns around the regulations. Were they followed? Was correct approval gained to make it a strike like this? So I do feel this answers the questions as to why it was done. There was concerns. It had to be done a surprise attack kind of without allowing that country or Iran to move their weapons or do something there. So it was a surprise attack, saying that something was going to happen in 2 weeks, or they were making a decision in 2 weeks, but then actually jumping on it straight away so that they could not give them any time to make backup plans or move weapons, or they wanted to strike on it surprisingly. But thinking about the future here. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, so I have no political affiliations. I am not really into politics or, wars and what's going on, the intricacies of the wars between the different countries, especially the Middle East. I don't know very much about that at all. My job is just to lay the cards and read the cards. So each of the questions that I'm asking, I am just laying cards and letting you know what the cards say. That is my job. My job is just to get an answer from Spirit as to what the cards mean, and that is purely where I come from when I do any kind of political readings or world event type readings. So let's get on to the questions. Now, the next question that I want to ask is, what is Iran's energetic stance here? Is it defensive? Is it a retaliation? Are they seeking vengeance? Are they seeking resolution? Could we find a diplomatic solution here? What is the energy around what's coming next for Iran's response to this? Okay, so first of all, in this interpretation, this is and this is all my opinion. This is just what the cards are saying. Now, this is the energy around the spread for Iran's response to the bombing by the US. So here we're feeling a change of focus coming up. First of all, now I feel that's relating to his resistance. Normally he's defiant, resistant, and now he's being forced to recalibrate or relook at new solutions around what his plans were. So he's having to change his focus in some way. Focus from what was on the table for him. Now there's going to be something else, because a fall from grace. Now I feel this is to do with the bunker bombs falling, so that it's like falling here. But I mean, there's other explanations here, but it's caused him to have to reconsider his plans for the future and maybe reopen negotiations here with these cards on the table. Now we see I'm getting like an image of Iran. He's a regional power. It's been shaken. We've got the fall from grace. So we've got could even be military leaders, nuclear assets, exposed vulnerabilities. So what's happened here is that this attack, he realized he's been exposed. He's vulnerable. Nuclear assets has been exposed here. So here we're looking at now he is having to reassess what he can do. It talks about maybe bruised ego, kind of like a regime, grappling here, or kind of like an erosion of this situation. What it's calling for down the bottom is a leadership battle. Now there's going to be some kind of issues around, I feel it's more Iran here. We're talking about the energy of Iran in this reading. So I feel like what's currently here is shaking the situation and is causing some kind of issues around. One thing is leadership battle. We had this in the US. So we've got the two leaders going head to head here, and we have foreign threats here. So what's happening in the middle with these two cards? These are the two leaders going head to head. So this is Iran, this is US. Now over here, it's the other way around. This one here is Iran, this one here is US. Notice the hat colors here too. That's very interesting. Now, because I say that opposite way around is because this is Iran trying to retain authority. Now, when they're really trying to insist that there's a regime change here. So this is the possible outcome or the anticipated outcome here, but he's holding on at all costs. He's going head to head here, wanting to retain his authority here. And over here, this side, when we've got the US, over here we've got foreign threats. So this is why when we're talking about Iran's energy, this is what I'm picking up around Iran's energy. Now, I'm not seeing any other bombing cards. I probably should pull from my predictions deck because that's the one that has the bombs in it. So I'll pull from that while I am talking here. So the cards that I'm reading here is possible outcomes or retaliation. Perhaps what will be the response from Iran when it comes to response for the bombings of Iran from US. So what I do see is that they're hoping that this will do a shake-up or some kind of shake-up of the leadership here, and hopefully him falling from grace. But I do feel he's doing everything here to retain authority or retain his power, but it could be causing some kind of issues. Now I had the card of assistance or help, so this is Iran's energy, so maybe looking for the assistance from other countries. So he's going to go now door knocking on the other countries here. Maybe this open negotiation could even possibly be with other countries. Russia, I'm feeling. I did get, when I pulled cards with Marina, I got the red flag. Now when I got the red flag, I thought of China or Russia, and when I went and looked up what the flag colors were, I always thought Russia had a red flag, but that's because when I was in school, Russia did have a red flag. It was changed in the early 90s to a tricolour flag. So in my mind, I still see the Russian flag as the red flag, the Soviet Union flag. So here I'm seeing here open negotiations, assistance or help. So maybe to a trusted advisor, maybe he's seeking assistance from Russia. So he's in negotiations here, so that in some way that will cost him. It will cost him with making negotiations with Russia. And trusted advisor is someone that he's already kind of politically aligned to, or somehow aligned to that country, or could stand to make a possible deal. You can see this card here. There's a pen out here ready to make a deal, an open negotiation. I feel that's with Russia there. Now, successful outcome, a bit worrying. I do see volatility. There's market volatility, which could be oil prices. It could be just market volatility in general, but we could be talking about volatile energy here. Harmful energy. So it's volatile, harmful energy is what I'm getting around that in response to that. Now I'm just, as I'm pulling cards to see if there's any other retaliation. Now it's going to be depending on the support or assistance that he can gain from other countries here. So this is where he'll try and negotiate with, resigns and leaves office. So as you can see down the bottom, I feel this is kind of like the push or the intention to have him fall from grace, resign and leave office, but he's doing everything he can to retain authority, which is why he's seeking the help and assistance through negotiation with Russia. And so, but there is still on the table for him, resigns and leaves office. Now, I did get also the stepping down card when I looked at Iran's energy, social outcast energy is what I got around. Possibly could have got the stepping down, but I'm pretty sure it was the social outcast that I got there. So no, it wasn't stepping down. They're just telling me it wasn't stepping down. It was social outcast that I got there. Okay, so let's see if there's any other cards that want to fall through for this. So he's not ready to collapse. So he's not ready to have his, so it is definitely making mainstream news. And it's just indicating to the people that we do need to prepare, stock up, because it's going to be volatile markets. It could force things to go up, such as if petrol goes up, then delivery, freight costs go up. And that means that our food in our supermarkets go up as well. So here, please take this time to stock up on, make sure you're stocked, because things could actually, it could become volatile for people on a individual basis. So therefore it's saying that you're needing to stock up and prepare for what could possibly happen with the markets here, and that affects our bottom line, especially around groceries. So I'm going to leave that reading there. I don't feel there's no bombing cards here that came out when I tried to pull for those, but I do see him in open negotiations with another country, and that would be Russia. I thought Russia or China because I saw the red flag, but I feel like it could possibly be open negotiations with Russia, ready to sign. He got that pen out ready to sign, to do whatever he can to retain authority. But I am seeing cards around him falling from grace, and we did see the resignation. So that kind of is the fear that he has, and that's what he's doing everything he can to avoid this. So the foreign threats has put him in a delicate situation, so where he now has to go back to the negotiation table to sort that situation. He stands to lose something in that situation as well if he makes some kind of deals here. But I do see a successful outcome, and that's very interesting because I'm talking about Iran here. Interesting why we have that. Let's just pull one extra card here. Okay, he's a tyrannical leader. It's saying successful outcome because he's a tyrannical leader, and liberation will prevail. Okay, so the next question that I have, I just want to take a look at the energy over the next couple of months, the collective energy here, and see if we're escalating tension or if it's de-escalating. So let's just use the cards to do that. Actually, I might, for this one, I'm going to use the predictions because we're looking into future events here, looking at the energy over the next couple of months. Okay, July's energy when it comes to the tension with the Middle East and the impacts, global impacts. Okay, so tension in July, we have military action, we have the voice of the people and uprising or rebelling. This one actually belongs in the other deck, but it's very relevant to this reading. So the voice of the people, that's the people uprising and rebelling over this current situation, and military action is brought in here. So there's more military action over July. So still seeing tension in July. Let's take a look at August energy. Okay, so August energy is all about aircraft. It could be military. It could actually be concerns around commercial airlines. So a lot more activity around aircraft. So more drones, more military action, but also it could be very concerning striking on commercial airlines as well. So retaliation possibly. August, we're looking at impacts on aircraft, so air flights around, whether that's commercial, whether that's military, but more activity, more unusual activity, and possibly even bringing in commercial airlines into this. We've got backstabbed or betrayed. And that's the words on the card. I'm more inclined to go with the energy of the card here, of the picture of the image. This is a war-torn country you're seeing in the background here. You're seeing somebody, a fighter, standing up to fight. So this is a fighter stepping forward. Chain, I'm noticing here there's a chain that's going through there. So bound to this current situation. We could be talking about the people here. We could be talking about they are bound to the next step they're doing. So because of the country being bombed, because of the war-torn country here, they're quite a dangerous person or dangerous situation to stand up. They've lost everything. They've got nothing left to lose. So who knows what they're going to target next. So this is a person that is very volatile. This is a person that is standing there with a weapon, wanting retaliation for what's happened in the background here. So I see still negative energy around August. So let's take a look at the energy in September. Okay, September brings changing energy. Perhaps things will maybe staying put in that contained or staying put here. I do feel outages. Maybe there's some cyber attacks here. There's some kind of strategic warfare going on here. Possibly outages. This could be energy grid. This could be cyber attack here. Something around surveillance. So more surveillance meaning more like cyber warfare here, strategic matters that are actually taking place. So this is going on in, and I'm not sure which country, I can't see because I'm not specifically asking a country. I'm asking energy of that month. I do see changes coming, things being maybe a little bit more contained here, staying put, but I do see in the background it's a cyber war or a strategic war in some way. There's more surveillance that goes on, looking for something, but surveillance of some sort. And here we're talking about cyber battle. So the energy is shifting to a different tactic when it comes to the way the military fights or the tactics that's been taken here. Thank you so much for joining me for today's reading. Love your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next reading.